My sister, 2 years younger, started dating this girl's older brother. And so we would go over to the Mancusos quite often for dinner and everything. And not too long after I started dating his sister, the oldest Italian boy came over and picked me up. He had, I'll never forget it, a 59 Oldsmobile convertible. Super 98. Oh man, it was beautiful. And he stopped in front of my house and asked me to go with him. And so I said, sure. So I got in the car and then I was looking around. And there were these guys, you know, and one of them had a baseball bat. Another one had a motorcycle chain. And, you know, I was getting a little nervous. Well, we drove for a while, and we finally ended up at this city park. And we pulled in from one side, and there was another car pulled in from another side. It was also full of young men who started getting out of their car carrying baseball bats and chains and rocks and stuff like that. We were going to have a rumble. And my girlfriend's brother didn't tell me this was going on, but I found out later he wanted to find out whether I was really loyal to the family or not. Was I going to fight with him? Was I going to, you know, help him? And eventually what I did was say, go get him, guys! Go get him! He wanted to find out what my level of commitment was. If I was going to be a part of the family, then I was going to have to be willing to their enemies would be my enemies, and their friends would be my friends, and so on. God wants to know what your level of commitment. Are you serious? Think about Jesus and the kind of commitment that he was asking from his disciples. The fishermen had to leave their nets. Everything they were doing, they had to leave behind in order to follow him. Everything was gone, was given up. They turned their back on it in order to follow him. What is your level of commitment? Well, the struggle will teach you that. Number 10. I'm getting to some good stuff now. Because the struggle qualifies you for rest. The struggle qualifies you for rest. Matthew 11:28. Jesus said, come to me, all of you who are tired and are carrying heavy loads, I will give you rest. He gives rest to those who need it. He gives rest to those who've been in the struggle. He gives rest to those who've been carrying the burdens. He gives rest to those who've come to the end of themselves. I will give you rest. Hebrews 4:11 says, so let us make every effort to enjoy that rest. Then no one will fall into sin by following the example of those who didn't obey God. Make every effort to enter into that rest. How do we do that? Well, the struggle. Number 11, not only does the struggle qualify you for rest, it qualifies you for the reward. David heard them speak of a reward, but he knew the reward was only for the person who would fight and kill Goliath. 1 Samuel 17:25 says, the men of Israel had been saying, just look at how this man keeps stepping forward again and again. He dares Israel to fight him. The king will make the man who kills him very wealthy. He will also give him his daughter to be his wife. I wonder how good looking she was. He won't require anyone in his family to pay any taxes in Israel. Whoa! That's a good deal. No taxes for the rest of your life if you kill this giant. Marry my daughter, the king said. You can have her. She's yours. Wow. The struggle qualifies you for the reward. We should understand that many times the struggle, the fight, the warfare, the praying, the waiting patiently, the enduring is as important as the blessing or reward. Because while we are looking at the reward, God is looking at the development that is taking place through the struggle. Faith is forged in the furnace of adversity. The first generation children of Israel forfeited their inheritance because they would not fight. You see, once that report came back, you remember what happened. They stayed in the desert until everybody but Caleb and Joshua were dead. They lost it. They lost out. They died in the desert. They never got their reward. Why? Because they refused to fight. How many of God's people have forfeited their destiny, their promises, just because they refused to fight? When the heat was on, they bailed out. They backed down. They laid down their swords and conceded to the enemy. As long as everything was going smooth, they were right there shouting with the rest of the army. But when the struggle came, they caved in and gave in to discouragement and fear and doubt. When they stood on the other side of the Red Sea, and watched Pharaoh's army as the waters piled over their heads, and the chariots and the horses got merged and mired and struggled, and the soldiers down there, hey, woohoo! Wow, that's it, go get him, God! But in just a little while, they were asked to strap on their swords and go fight the giants. And they said, can't do it. If you will be truthful this morning, what has made you what you are in God is the struggle. What you had to fight for. What you had to fight against. What you had to overcome. The caterpillar goes through a process of metamorphosis, through which it changes from an earthbound, crawly worm into a beautiful butterfly. You know, usually when they talk about metamorphosis, which means complete change, they use the butterfly, and there's a reason for that. There's a biological, scientific reason why the butterfly is the emblem of icon of complete change, if you will. You see, most animals, when they go through change, a good example is the frog. You've seen tadpoles, I'm sure. And when the tadpoles first hatch from those frog eggs, they just look like little fish with a fat head. But pretty soon they start growing legs. And then after a while, the tail disappears, and they crawl up on land, and they're a frog. That does not happen with the monarch butterfly. They come, as you know, from a green worm. And there is no place from that worm that sprouts wings. There is no place from that worm that sprouts legs. The deoxyribonucleic acid, better known as DNA, in a caterpillar, the green worm, is totally changed. All that's in that worm, when it goes in that cocoon, is goo, a green goo. It's the outside of it, and green goo stuff. But something takes place inside that cocoon. It completely changes. All of its chromosomes change. All of its genetic code totally changes, and it comes out and emerges as a butterfly that is as different from the caterpillar as an elephant is from a mouse. It is a totally different creature. It's not the same creature that's just been changed. It's a brand new one. Well, also, that process, though, of the butterfly emerging from the cocoon, it involves struggle. To cut the struggle short would rob the butterfly of its destiny. Maybe you've been around chickens or birds. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right, but as baby birds get ready to hatch, or baby chicks, the shells, they come to a point where I think they call it piping. And you can actually hear, you'll see the eggs start to move in the nest, and you'll hear the eggs doing that. And you know what that is? That's the chick on the inside of the egg pecking at the shell, getting ready to break out of there.